So Kenobi, episode 4, which premiered Wednesday. It is the latest episode.
Kenobi!
It is the latest episode of the new Disney Plus series based on the legacy character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So in this episode, it takes follows up what we saw in the latest episode, which was Princess Leia captured again. She got captured again. What are the odds of that getting kidnapped?
She gets kidnapped more than Moku fucking Yugi.
Yeah. What are the odds of getting kidnapped within the span of a week, a few days? What are the odds of that? But it happened again. So then they have to kind of mount a rescue, Kenobi, and I forgot what's her name again. The character's name from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Kenobi and Pala.
Pala. So they have to mount a rescue to go and rescue from the Empire base.
Yep, from Fortress Inquisitores, who a place you might remember if you played Jedi.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I saw some people remark that on Twitter about
that's where the entire last mission of that game takes place.
Ah, okay. So with this episode, I'll say right off the bat, I think this is the worst episode of the series so far. And this is coming from a guy, I was pretty high on the first 3 episodes. Well, yeah, I guess I was pretty high on the first 3 episodes to say. I really, really enjoyed episode 3. I thought episode 3 was the best of the series. And then to follow it up with this episode, which is just such a nosedive in every way possible, is really disappointing with this.
This miniseries is 6 goddamn episodes. You should not have time for filler.
Yep.
And that's what this episode feels like. I feel like we were promised a deep dive into the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi after the events of Revenge of the Sith. And the way he ended episode 3, this was basically teeing up for that.
Yeah. And for what this episode sets up for next, it's for the next one, it's you could have done that in a much simpler way. 1,000 probably other ways in this show.
There was a way to get to where this episode leads to without having what happens in this one.
Yeah. So with Paula, he ends up, kind of going there with her to infiltrate the Empire base in order to rescue her. Also with this, you see kind of, also another kind of surprise, not surprised because you knew he was going to be in it, but another kind of celebrity cameo coming in here, O'Shea Jackson, who shows up in this episode. O'Shea Jackson has a nice little acting career. I loved him in the Aubrey Plaza movie. What was that called?
Ingrid Goes West.
Ingrid Goes West. I loved him in that movie. I thought he was very, very good in that.
He's great in that. He's great playing his father in Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Even in that movie, Den of Thieves, which is just diet heat, he's really good in.
Yeah. And when he shows up, I don't know, it's just something about it. When these other actors kind of show up in these things, they're just not the strongest, I don't think. And here, I think he's decent, but I don't think he's that good. Not as good as I've seen him before. I mean, he had a very limited role here. I mean, it's only a little screen time he had. But it seemed like he wasn't that strong. And the same thing I felt about Safdie when he was on the first episode of Kenobi, where he kind of came in. And we know how good he can be. He was very good, I thought, in that movie Licorice Pizza. And he was also very good in Good Time with Robert Pattinson, which is a movie he also directed. So I was kind of very surprised. A lot of his dialogue and stuff felt very, very stilted and everything. And that's kind of how it feels in this episode. Just kind of personified a lot of the bad problems kind of with the series. It was kind of amplified. A lot of some of the bad writing, a lot of the bad, kind of action here kind of going on. And kind of just, just the kind of terribleness of some of the kind of the scenes between the actors and the way some things are shot, and kind of has that very, like I said, fan film kind of nature to it.
Yes. Agree 100%. I think even though I do see all those problems with the first, like some of the dialogue is some of the acting choices from some of the cast are questionable, but I thought the acting from the core cast, at least from Ewan McGregor and the girl who plays Princess Leia, I thought they were like the best parts about it, and I could overlook a lot of what was wrong. Here, I don't think that's the case. I think everybody on this when they were shooting this knew that this was kind of filler, so they were like, fuck it.
Yeah. Dusk.
It's the same thing I was saying last time, episode 3. Well, I appreciate them using a Jedi or a reference to other Star Wars canon from games, other stuff. That doesn't save this from being extra filler. If I'm going to be completely honest, this whole show feels like filler. It doesn't need to be. Everything they bring up doesn't exactly change anything. And if in any ways, it actually alters stuff significantly and changes things up quite a bit. So the new characters here, I'm not entirely impressed. Tala's like the only one I'm like, okay, she should have been here from the beginning. We should like a bit more time with that character. That could have been kind of interesting. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting bored with the fact that they've such depowered Obi-Wan so much to the point where it's like, all right, man, like you got 2 more episodes left, and you've got another couple of years to get back to the way you should be as Alec Guinness, and what you've also set him up. Yeah.
And that feels like a missed opportunity from the show, because the first 3 episodes, we're set up with a broken Obi-Wan Kenobi, a guy who is haunted by the events of the Clone Wars and the events of Revenge of the Sith. And you had him at his lowest after seeing what became of Anakin Skywalker in the last episode and being tortured by him, at least that briefly. And here you could have set it up as like this return to form for Obi-Wan, as like this new call to action to get back to who he once was. And I thought that's what they were going for here.
Right.
But there's just that little bit of oomph missing. Even in a scene I liked, where it's like the power's out in that like prison holding cell that Leia's in, and it's only lit by the lightsaber. And I thought that visually looked really cool.
Yeah. He snuck up on those stormtroopers. Yeah, that guy. Stormtroopers, by the way, are so fucking useless. They got to be useless soldiers in any fictitious army ever.
But also, Josh, you're also in the army.
Yeah,
most infantry are basically like that.
I'm not infantry. I do a totally different job. I'm not fucking infantry.
Believe me, I'm in the Navy, and I have seen just like normal, everyday enlisted shoot. That is not all that. That is not all that wrong with how the stormtroopers aim.
But just like, and that's kind of been a thing in like them even sneaking on to this Empire base. It's like, I know that's a common thing in Star Wars where a lot of characters sneak onto a base. It's easy to get on and easy to get off.
Yeah, but this is like the Inquisitor base.
Yeah,
which should have been a lot harder to get onto the base and rescue Leia. But
also, usually when they do so, there's actually good tricks, or they use something they have to find a way to kind of work with it. This, it's like, oh, bad credentials. I'm going to intimidate my way through, and you're like, Inquisitor base, dude.
Yeah,
Inquisitor base.
And Javon just commented, I'm surprised they brought Hayden Christensen back, because he's
at all
like in one scene of the show. I don't know if he's like in the actual Darth Vader suit, but this is like where this is where you should have had the flashbacks episode. This is where you should have had Clone Wars flashback.
Yeah.
That's just the thing with kind of a lot of this, like them, like you said, old trope of how she gets onto the base, of kind of bullying her way onto the base. It's like you go into kind of any government facility, so you can't just bully your way on there, just because say, well, do you know who I am? It's like, well, your credentials say you're not supposed to be here, so what you want me to do? You know what I mean? You can go talk to my boss if you want to. I mean, hey,
talk to Palpatine.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You could talk to my superior and my superior above them if it's an issue, and then, hey, we'll rectify it. I mean, just the fact that she's able just to do that, just because, like, well,
Yeah.
you know, like, well, I'll tell
It
your
makes
boss.
the Empire look stupider. Even in the original Star Wars, the Empire wasn't stupid. They were just a bit more clever. They knew, they knew the ways out. Han Solo was a smuggler. He had ability to smuggle. They got people to come on board. They took their costumes. There's actually a kind of clever moment where they're like, "Why don't you have your radio sets? Looks up, points. Ah, okay. Something's wrong with their radios. That's why they can't communicate. They can hear them, but we can't respond." That occasionally happens. Totally understandable. They take advantage of that. They take advantage of routine. This doesn't take advantage of routine. It just treats characters stupid and ignores chain of command.
Yeah. And that's really dumb, you know, and then them even getting out. I mean, again, it goes to, you knew that last minute save is going to kind of come in and save them. You knew that was going to happen. That's you know, it's like, I don't know if they think like, well, you know, Star Wars is known for doing a lot of these classic old tropes, so that's what people like. They like a lot of that, you know, old tropey type stuff. But it just comes off as like, again, you already have not that much tension because Kenobi and Princess Leia, you know, nothing's gonna happen to them. But you know, you could have at least, I think, killed the Paula character, the Palma character. You could have killed her. I thought at least that would have given it some real tension here or some real stakes if, you know, her life was you know, in danger, or she was captured, or, you know, something like that. That would have kind of given it something there. The interrogation stuff with Reva and Princess Leia, I think, was some of the worst.
That was embarrassing.
I just think those two actors, I mean, didn't know how to play off each other at all. I thought the dialogue in that scene was, I thought, the worst. You know, the way she was trying to, you know, kind of manipulate her, it's like, wasn't very, you know, wasn't good at all. No. And then even when she goes to try to torture her, it's like, okay, are you gonna do it or not? Are you gonna do it or not? I mean, come on, what's up? I mean, shit'll get off the pot. I mean, what are we doing here? You know, constantly saying like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You gonna make me do it? I mean, you want me to do this? I'm gonna do it. It's like, okay, well, I mean, at this point, I mean, it seems like, yeah, do it. I mean, you know, come on. When did you like that? Like with those characters dead, like when you saw that hallway of like all these other,
they're all dead.
Okay, they're all dead. They're just okay. So they're just trophies. Okay, because I thought were they kind of
they're not just trophies. The reason why they're keeping them in amber, this is something that's not brought up. But the lightsaber colors have a somewhat meaning. Depends on the tying of yourself to the Force, what kind of position you are, what kind of a Jedi you are, what kind of techniques you use. Amber is actually one of the most pure versions of a light crystal. It's a very rare one, but it shows that someone's imbuement to the Force, to the point where actually there's no actually closer representation to you of the Force by using an amber lightsaber. It's very similar to the color yellow, but it's an orange, but it's a clear, the color like that, where it's a mix between the two, to the point where if we actually go to the dark side, your lightsaber no longer works. Because the crystal recognizes it, and it gets darker and darker to the point where, oh, it just doesn't even work if you go full to the dark side. It's a way of preserving life and force. So it's like their bodies are dead, but they're not allowing them the opportunity to kind of fully be absorbed into the Force. It's like a torture almost, a way to accumulate their natural force, not allow it to be recycled, so to speak.
Okay, that's interesting. That's actually pretty horrifying. Actually, I mean that is
pretty horrifying. And the series just like snaps fingers and done. We're not going to go into that.
Yeah, that's horrifying, and that's
brilliant. Yes, it's brilliant. It's actually quite smart. That's something that Star Wars books have actually brought up, and it's interesting ideas, and it's there for like a scene, and then they're going more into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you explain like that, yeah, that is very horrifying. That's, you know, very good. I wish they went into depth of that, because I was kind of like, are they, frozen or what?
The problem. The problem. Where did I hear that from? Not the fucking show.
No. I had to, because I happened to make a guess, and I know a little bit more, and so I can be like, no, that's probably what they're doing. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I wonder if he's gonna dig more into this, and would also explain where the Inquisitors get some of their Force ability. Doesn't get recycled, so they can just be like, we're just going to study them and get whatever force that we need to. We may not be, because Inquisitors aren't necessarily there. Some of them are Jedi that got tortured and brainwashed to becoming it, but some of them are just those that took force abilities or are able to take it and use it as their own. So depending on it, it just really depends.
Yeah.
Through really nefarious means, and only someone like Darth Sidious, aka the Emperor, would be willing to go that far for extravagantly, that cruel to mess with it. Even though their Sith didn't mess with the cosmic, so to speak, the circle. They didn't mess with the let's not mess too much with it, because that's where we get our power too.
Yeah.
Sidious didn't care. He just wanted full control.
Yeah.
Unlimited power.
Pretty much, yeah. He wants unlimited power.
Yeah. To say something maybe slightly positive about this episode, if I can find something, like you said, like Nick was mentioning, that scene in the torture room, where he kind of killed those 2 stormtroopers, I thought was okay. I thought that was fine. The scene where he's fighting those other stormtroopers in the hallway fight. They got some hallway fights in here. They love the hallways. So when he was kind of
Disney's starting to love them hallway fights.
Yeah. You see him kind of fighting the other stormtroopers, deflecting it, with the lightsaber, their blasters. Also fighting that other, what's that droid's name? The one that rolls. What's that called? Blaster droid or
BB-8?
No, the battle droid, the one that. the one that rolled that was in the prequel.
Oh, you mean the one that? Oh, the one that's like floating those probe droids, or
no, the one
that's like the little black Tonka trucks that are like rolling around on bases.
Yeah, like the one that was the one that was in the prequels, and the first one, the Phantom Menace, and then the one with the shields, and then it rolled, and then it pops up.
Oh, you mean
Droidekas? Yeah, Droideka. Yeah, those ones. So he's fighting that one, and then all the stormtroopers. Then when he reflected onto the glass, like he was holding the water in with the Force, I thought that was kind of nice. But then when he tries to, when it comes out, it's like a scene at the Day After Tomorrow where he was running from the water. You know what I mean? Which was it was ridiculous. Like, you remember that scene in the Day After Tomorrow where he outruns the cold? You know what I mean? I got it pulled up here.
That was like the one moment that. This episode isn't good, but that was the one moment I was rolling my eyes.
Like, yeah,
come on!
Like the scene of Day After Tomorrow where they're outrunning the cold, and all they had to do is close the door, and the cold stops. Yeah. Like, come on, man!
They're trying to outrun the cold like the fucking like the Evil Dead.
Yeah, right. Also, to add to it, him holding back the water. How much is his connection to the Force, really? So at one point, he can barely lift the kid, can't even do it. But now all of a sudden, I can stop a bunch of water coming through there that will require quite a significant amount of force. He can I can't fight worth shit at all, but then I can John Wick it if I really need to. It's inconsistent.
He was fighting Vader, who, one, he's terrified of. Two, he's not really trying to win at that point. He's just trying to buy time for Leia to escape. And three, he's also rusty. And these are, like, just normal stormtroopers.
Right, but also secondarily, he shouldn't even be this rusty. If his whole... like, I brought this up in the last podcast. If his whole point of a character is, I'm going to protect Luke and protect the legacy, to fit in with his character, he would have never gotten this rusty. He would have still kept his lightsaber in secret. He just would have been low using the Force. But he still would have been connected with it. You can still be connected with the Force and still not be completely seen.
Well, also, just because you set out to do something and protect Luke, even the conversations that he's had with Owen, he's like, no, fuck off, Ben.
Yeah, but also
kind of like losing his way.
I don't know. I just think this whole show should have been. This whole show is against what the character represents. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the poster child for the Jedi of Jedi perseverance. Of even in the face of ultimate darkness, he still stands tall. I mean, even in a children's show with Jedi, with Star Wars, Rebels, the scene with him, I mean, this is years later, but even that still felt far more in character with this character here. And I know the excuse, he's younger. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Like, oh, in this meantime, between this moment and here, he was a complete and utter broken man and didn't do shit, which doesn't fit at all with this. He's even talking to Maul and saying, like, look how far I've risen above. Look how far it's this. It's all about perseverance. If anything, his character should have been more relaxed. It should have been...
True. I agree, but also there is that thing of you can't rise until you've fallen.
Yeah.
He could still be like he could still maintain that and still maintain a character, but whatever.
Yeah,
that's
me. I think a Dusk's like big thing is how different this is from the character Obi-Wan Kenobi. How much it does break canon. Me, I'm not precious about canon. As long as you're telling like a good cohesive story and doing something interesting with this world that I like, then I'm more or less. As long as it's engaging, as long as I feel something when I'm good.
Yeah, my own thing with
and
that
for the first 3 episodes, I was.
My own thing with that is it's not the character that we've seen in other stuff because obviously of what happened after the events of Revenge of the Sith, and then it's not him immediately after that, and we're going into you see A New Hope, so it's that time period of there in between of what we see of that character. So it's not. I don't think him just being this kind of disheveled or broken individual is really breaking canon of what we know in Kenobi.
So the idea of him not being at his peak is fine. I don't have a problem with that aspect of it. That's fine.
Well,
he can be in a weakened state.
He's also got like 10 years until A New Hope.
Yeah. I'm fine with him, but there should be a level of measurement and character consistency. There's a lot of shit that he does that I'm like, that's the dark side. That's like something you wouldn't have done. Oh, that's this. You can still be on a level that's okay, all right, I won't use this, I won't do this. To me, it would have been a much more interesting story was even in his weakened state, he still finds a way to persevere and still finds a way to actually continue with the Jedi perspective, even in dark times. That's a much more interesting story, and he's not really doing this here.
Well, we have 2 more episodes to go. So
oh wow! In 2 episodes, they're really going to figure it out.
But I'm saying, isn't that what he's doing now, where he's getting called into action, the hero's journey, the hero's story of getting back
that's more or less how I'm reading the show. We're introduced to Obi-Wan at his lowest, and this is his journey this is part of his journey to become the Alec Guinness version that we see in A New Hope.
I mean, that's just kind of my thoughts on it. But I just thought that was funny, him running away from that tidal wave and no water got through. And also, as young of a guy as Ewan McGregor who looks fantastic. He's 51 years old, looks fantastic. He did that old man shuffle run when he was running away from that tidal wave. I was like, geez.
Hey, Ewan McGregor, he is a good-looking man. He's kept in shape, but he's not in Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Tom Cruise, he's still running his ass off. Yeah, but Ewan McGregor needs to do some more stretching. He needs to do some more stretching. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, do some like stretching, some hot yoga.
Yeah, hot yoga. Yeah. Listen, this episode was a big disappointment for me.
Yeah, this for me, it's kind of like when you're watching like Stranger Things 2, and you get that entire episode that they literally stop the story and catch up on what Eleven's been up to. How that kind of just took all of the momentum out of the series.
Yeah.
Depending on how the next 2 episodes go, that's how I feel about this episode.
Yeah. And Bradley Martin, to his point, I saw his comment there. Something that maybe it would, a comment that goes back to what Dusk was saying. How do you forget to be the master of something? I mean, I don't think. I think it's supposed to be. He hasn't been doing it in the 9 years, 10 years since there was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, he's just been like hiding in trying to survive.
Yeah.
Where I agree with the comment. They said, where do you forget to be the master of something? That's fine with him. Like, I haven't used it for a while. But there should be, like, a moment of elation when he uses the Force or when he's reconnected with it. Every time they treat him like he's a coward. Every single thing he does is cowardly and out of character. There should be moments of elation. He's being reconnected with the Force. He's finding himself again. There should be like a very like hopeful, warm feeling. And in this, it's just a bunch of like nonsense as we keep going to location, and characters be taken over, and plot twists that just happen for reasons.
Yeah.
Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if because I think they are gonna bring like Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson. It would make sense to bring him back. So, because I know at the end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda was saying that he was going to teach him how to actually communicate, with the Force Ghosts and everything like that. So,
which they have like moments in some of the novelizations of the films where he actually does.
So, I suspect that they're going to do that. I mean, if Liam Neeson can do Taken 8, he can come in real quick and do, a quick little cameo.
If he can show up in Atlanta and lampshade the controversy that he was involved in, and actually hopefully IRL will come away with a lesson from it. He can show up for like a couple hours in a voice booth.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna give him the pep talk. You know what I mean? Of get your shit together. You know what I mean? Blah blah blah. And then, that's going to really help revitalize him and rejuvenize him and everything like that. And help him kind of go back to being, more active, stop being a hermit, stop being, you know what I mean? Help maybe, take part in the rebellion or forming the rebellion in a way, to get back to fighting and get back to that perseverance that Dusk was talking about. Vader in this, you see Vader a little bit in this episode. I did like him coming in. That nice. He kind of came in with that. He was stumping mad. He came in, and
he was. You ever see those videos of that like bodybuilder like stalking his clients at fast food places and just kicking the food out of their hands? He was coming with that same energy.
I mean, the way it was. I mean, he was walking and stuff. You could just feel those boots on the ground. And then he just came.
Feel that.
Yeah, I mean, and the way he kind of came in there, I thought that was kind of okay. I thought that was fine. Again, I mean, that was still not all that much exciting for her to say. Like, it would have been maybe more exciting if he did kill her, if he did kill kind of Reva in this, and also her saying that she had put the tracker on her. Again, that's what we talked about. Like that moment. That seemed like that's what this episode was building to, like just putting a tracker and then them maybe finding these other rebellion hideouts and everything.
She literally could have captured Leia in that tunnel, knocked her out, put a little tracker in the thing, and then just mysteriously let her go.
Yeah.
And then just been like, and that's it. And she's like, and like, or she's like, had her, and then something happens and they escape. She's like, you let them escape. And she's just like, no.
Yeah,
and she doesn't tell anyone. And then when Vader's pissed, and he just goes,
"Yeah,
put a tracker on her."
But where I try not to do this with shows where I try to like have my own version of it, where that happens, and then this episode is very much the flashbacks of the Clone Wars and what he was up to during this and why he's been so broken. And then you get the Liam Neeson cameo, and 5th and 6th episode you get Kenobi back.
Yeah,
he's back, baby.
Yeah, it would be nice because I think the prequels did a poor job. If you did a flashback of establishing, because the
prequel films, they did a poor job of characterization. The best versions of all of these characters, of Anakin Skywalker, they come from stuff in the Clone Wars animation.
Yeah. You see the brotherhood and the friendship there that was spoken about in that stuff.
You feel the genuine bond. You add more depth to Obi-Wan with his connection with Duchess Satine.
Yeah.
And how at one point in his life he was tempted to leave the.
Yeah. So I mean, I think you see better kind of characterization there. And for this to be 2 more episodes left, I mean, you got to really be pulling something out of your ass that's phenomenal.
It's a big ask, which, if we're being honest, most of the shows on Disney Plus haven't really up to.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about this with Moon Knight, where that ended. We talked about with this, to an extent, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, with WandaVision, with all those MCU Disney shows. Even the Book of Boba Fett that was like the worst example.
It was.
I think Book of Boba Fett was just bad all around. I mean, from episode
It
one,
was.
It wasn't good until like episode 5, where Boba Fett.
And then when the
wasn't even in
Mandalorian
it.
showed up.
Yeah, it wasn't even his show. That was somebody else's show.
Yeah, Daddy. Yeah, it was like they called Daddy had to come and save your show.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like, Nick, I remember sitting right here, we talking about Book of Boba Fett, and you and I both agreeing that, like, man, it's like episode 2 or 3, and I don't know what they're doing. I don't even know if I can keep watching this. There's nothing. Nothing is happening. I've never seen this before.
The episode 4 came, and I was about to quit.
We did. Both of us were like, yeah, man, just call us when the series. We'll just watch it when the series is over.
Yeah, but then Din Djarin put on his chrome helmet, put on Return of the Mac, and said,
He did.
"Okay, I'm back."
Yeah, he's like, all right.
Return of the Mac.
I mean, at that point, it wasn't even his show anymore. And then with the ending of this episode, like I said, with the last minute save that you knew was going to happen, and they try to add something in there where, like, this pilot who dies, it's like, I didn't even know that guy. I didn't even know what his name was. So I'm like, why would I really?
It was like, it was like, motherfucker, did you have a single line of dialogue where you, like, showed up on, like, barely out of focus of your face and this speeder?
Yeah, I just was like, that was supposed to be.
They might as well have had a scene, like, at that base camp of, I can't wait to retire in like 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, because it was just kind of like,
or hold like a hologram of his wife.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised that I would have liked, as much as people hate Zach Braff, I'm surprised that his, like, the puppet thing that he was talking through didn't get repeatedly stabbed last episode. It just knocked him out. Like, he was just like, Obi-Wan was just like really stabbed.
It was so interesting to see bootlickers in fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hey Nick, it cut your camera on.
Yeah, camera.
Yeah, on and off again.
Oh,
something's wrong with it.
Oh shit. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so fascinating to see, like, the Blue Lives Matter crowd in fucking Star Wars.
I mean, to be fair, that's actually quite common in the Star Wars universe. Even in the original trilogy, Luke was going in for the Academy. He wanted to be part of the Academy for the Empire. He wanted to fly for the Empire.
Yeah.
Like, he even mentions it. Like, we're going to get out there to for the Academy.
Han Solo.
Was going to be for Han Solo.
He joined.
He did. Even in actual canon, he did join the Empire. He flew for the Academy for it as well.
Yeah, but moving back to Kenobi.
Yeah.
Week episode 4 kind of takes most of the momentum out of the series, but hopefully it turns around because what the hell?
Oh, okay.
You got something coming, Nick.
Yeah, and I'd say also the most moment people are kind of roasting the show for is when they escape and Leia's kind of under him and, like, in this coat and trying to.
Yeah, that's right. That was embarrassing.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that scene from Austin Powers, Goldmember, when it's like Austin Powers is on top of Vern Troyer and they're just walking around, and it's like it so reminded me of that scene, and they're trying to hide, when he goes in, and I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like, nobody sees this. Like, you don't see.
It's like the Little Rascals.
Yeah, it's like how
dressing up as like a trench coat.
A trench coat. It's like, how are you not seeing this? How are you not noticing this guy that is clearly not supposed to be there? He's got a beard. He looks homeless. Especially next to this other person who is perfectly got nice tailored, outfit, uniform
you guys talking about the fucking Little Rascals scene?
Yes, we were. Yeah, we were talking about the Little Rascals moment. I was like,
oh God, I want to like this show, but you keep doing this dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know what would have been a great little thing if there was a stormtrooper who just, like, looked over and they saw this happening. And, no, not even that. If he actually just said, and, like, the other stormtrooper was like, "What?" And he goes, "Maybe it's just a drill."
Yeah.
That actually would have been a nice little reference. It'd be like, maybe it's just a drill. I don't know.
We're just like have that, like, last Airbender moment of. Yeah, Captain ordered all the crew to celebrate someone's birthday.
It would have it would have made more sense if like there was an explosion, everybody was running around, and you could say wasn't paying attention. But it's clearly there's none. They're on high alert. The alarm is going off. So how do you not fucking see this? I was like, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So terrible episode. Terrible episode.
Yeah.
All the way around.
All the way around, sir.
Yeah. Do you think the show can win you back? Last 2 episodes?
No.
No way. Even if the last 2 episodes, you don't think there's any way they're phenomenal?
All right, this is a big if they somehow, I mean, already it's already kind of really bad canon wise. If they somehow wipe out Leia's memory, and he has a genuinely interesting fight with Vader, and we see a little bit of Hayden Christensen, and he kind of gets a little bit of his mojo back, and we see him as he's like rising above, then I'm like, okay, cool. This show wasn't worth it, but at least that's that. I got to see this moment, and I can just take it away as well, that was a nice what if. But, I mean, at this point, I don't think this show is even going to give me that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's rumors about a season 2, I think.
Oh, God.
There's rumors about it. Yeah.
How much more crap can they keep pumping out?
Well, the Andor show.
Machine.
Andor show's coming.
Oh, God.
It's coming.
But he did.
Yeah.
He did.
He's dead, but hey, they're doing a show about him, making it a prequel. Yeah, so that's back. They're doing a Ahsoka show. That's going to be there. That's coming. So, yeah.
I had hope for a Kenobi show, so I'm not going to have any hope for an Ahsoka show.
Well, Admiral Thrawn, your guy, he's going to be in it.
You know what? Good. Like, Admiral Thrawn is awesome, so we'll see how they fuck it up.
Yeah, so that was Kenobi. That was our thoughts on Kenobi, episode 4.